Yeah. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the March 3rd, 2020 NUSD board meeting, regular board meeting. Wanted to welcome you all and say Trustee Butler won't be here today due to family commitment. And Tom Cooper will be Vice President, and I'll be acting President tonight. So thank you, Tom, for doing this. And thank you all for being here. I hope you all voted. So let's do the let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. We will now go to this meeting's now in order, and we will now go to announcements of reportable actions on closed items, closed session. And so, Mr. Trustee Cooper.
Okay, thank you. We met in closed session this evening pursuant to Government Code 549-56.9, conference with legal counsel pending litigation, Coalition to Save San Marin versus Nevada Unified School District, Marin County Superior Court, case number CIV 1702295. This was information only, and that's all. It was short.
Okay, thank you about that. All right. Any public comments on consent agenda? Nothing. We don't see anything. All right. Approve.
On closed session.
Yes, on closed session. Okay, approval of consent agenda.
I'll
So-
move tonight's agenda.
Okay, so what I was going to say.
Staff recommended pulling a couple items. So Maria will talk about that.
Staff has recommended that we pull 2 items, and that would be item 14D and 14F, and they will be brought back in the near future. And so besides these 2 items, are there any other items that any of you would like to pull? Okay, so
So I'll amend my motion to approve tonight's agenda after pulling consent item D and consent item F.
correct? Okay, okay. So I ask for the vote. All right, 6-0 and 1 absent. Great, thank you.
President?
Yes.
I noticed that the item F is the chess club services, and we have the chess club here, so I assume
Correct,
we'll bring this back at some
Yes, and-
reasonably short time.
correct. And they'll have an opportunity to share what they have to share with us tonight. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll bring them back, both those items back on the 17th.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, so. Okay, so I guess let's do approval of the agenda. All right, so as is, approval of agenda as is.
I'll
And-
move approval of
Okay, we
tonight's
got,
agenda.
okay, we got Tom Cooper, and then, any second? Okay, Trustee Nell, and so that's 6-0, 1 absent. All right, thank you so much. Okay, now, this is the exciting part. Student presentation, always look forward to those. It's what makes the board meetings fun. So, yeah, come on up. This is Hamilton K-8 school, and they're going to be demonstrating part of what is culture of competence.
All right. Hi, everybody. Steve Hospodar here from Hamilton K-8 School. I get my team with me today. Super excited. You know, if you look at the diagram here, you know, this is our vision and our philosophy around education, developing the whole child. Last month, I was talking about our secret sauce for education. This week, we're talking about opportunity, an opportunity that we provide at Hamilton School. We have a ton of opportunities we provide for our kids to practice what we teach them. And tonight, we're going to be focusing on chess. So I'm going to introduce one at a time. So I'm going to begin with our director of our chess program, Jay Ferguson.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, trustees. As Steve said, my name is Jay Ferguson, and I'm Director of Chess at Hamilton School. I appreciate your taking the time to listen about our program, and you should know right up front how much joy it brings to us as volunteers to be able to work with kids like this at Hamilton School. We have very little time. I know you're busy, but I have a lot of information to share. So I'm going to read. It's much more efficient. I can get through my presentation a lot quicker, and I apologize for that, but I think we'll all be better served, so thank you. Michelle Huff and I started the chess program at Hamilton 3 years ago, the beginning of our interest in building opportunity for Hamilton kids. In year one, we offered 4th and 5th grades a chess club at lunchtime, starting from scratch, learning from other programs about teaching chess. We used a lot of trial and error, and eventually found a chess room. We dressed it up. We started playing chess, and we definitely put the organic in organic growth. It was a learning experience. We had a bit of a following, so the second year we added 3rd grade and middle school last year, still all in a club environment, and this year we included 2nd grade, added after-school chess, and began a competitive chess program when we hired women's grandmaster Carla Heredia, Coach Carla. We see around 140 kids each week, with well over 30 kids participating in tournaments so far. We've been to tournaments in Berkeley, San Rafael at Mark Day School. We've hosted a tournament at the Hamilton Gym. In December, we'll host another Hamilton Gym tournament on April 18th. And we have kind of a notion of making Hamilton School a hub for tournament chess in the county and beyond. It's kind of a vision. So why chess and how did I get here? As a mentor to a Hamilton 3rd grader 4 years ago, I was struck by different worlds. My own kids, like lots of other kids in Marin, were engaged and successful in academics. They were and still are, like lots of kids in Marin, actively engaged in sports, music, activities like chess. Like a lot of kids in Marin, they tried a lot of things, but eventually settled on ones they loved and then worked to excel at them. Away from school, they learned determination, commitment, engagement, challenge, and grit. These kinds of kids are successful, but they are first and foremost grinders. They work hard. They learn to engage, achieve, over and over, commitment by commitment, and then rinse and repeat, even in the classroom. At Hamilton, especially 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't see a lot of engagement, not around education or sports or competition, and much of that was because opportunity was so limited. Whether at school or away from school around the county, kids need engagement and challenge, where they learn sportsmanship, effort, and reward, where they have fun, but they build grit. Hamilton kids are every bit as capable as kids across the county. They just need opportunity. And that's where chess comes in. Determination, commitment, learning to win, and learning from losing. It's a great game that teaches lifelong skills. And it's accessible to all. As you know, most opportunity in Marin is fee-based, which can be a challenge for many in our Novato community. Our programs are open to all without fees, supported by donors, and operated by passionate volunteers. Our hope is that engagement with chess or any other opportunity that we bring along, like cross-country, basketball, or summer programs, will teach kids at Hamilton that effort and engagement is the secret sauce. And then show up to class able to engage, leading to achievement. Competitive chess in particular is the payoff for our chess program. Kids can learn a lot from playing and learning chess, but they learn far more in a competitive environment. And with that, I'd like to introduce Carla, because Carla is definitely our competitive secret sauce. Carla represents her country, Ecuador, in the chess Olympiads. She's a women's grandmaster. She's played competitive chess all over the world, graduated from Texas Tech University with a master's degree, and she can teach these kids chess. So I'll have her talk for a bit. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Competitive chess engages our students to commit to practices and training because they are focused on the next goal, To compete in tournaments, our students learn discipline and time management to be a good student and an accomplished chess player. Competing prepares our students to deal with fear, to become confident with their abilities, and to challenge themselves in every tournament. When our students compete, they not only try to win and give checkmates, but also learn that working hard gives them more chances to succeed. Hamilton is allowing every student to learn to make the best moves across the board in both chess and life. Every student deserves a mentor, a school, a principal, and a county that believes in them to pursue their passion. Next up, I want to introduce our student, Olivia Hall, who is a sixth grader.
Hello, my name is, Hello, school board trustees. My name is Olivia Hall. I'm a sixth grader at Hamilton K-8 school. I've been playing chess for a year now, and I never thought that I would play and find interest in something like chess. Furthermore, I never thought that I would even compete for the Hamilton chess team. I was very intimidated by competing and failing in competition. After competing in a few tournaments, I figured out that I had some skill and could compete for real in tournaments. After coming in 6th place in my first tournament, just barely missing out on a trophy, I decided to compete more, and in my next tournament, I achieved 8th place out of 21, and I got a trophy, even placing higher than my brother. Chess has made me more focused, and I am less scared about failing in tournaments and competitions. Chess has also taught me to be more focused on other activities such as school. I hope to continue with chess, learn more skills, and win more tournaments. Next up, I want to introduce 7th grader Jordan Rodas.
Hello, school board trustees. Hi, my name is Jordan Rodas. I'm a 7th grader at Hamilton K-8 school. I have been playing chess at Hamilton for over a year. Currently, I'm on the Hamilton chess team where we compete against other people in the Bay Area. Before chess, I wasn't very focused, but after playing for over a year, I have become more focused in chess and in the classroom. Also, chess has helped me learn to persevere, to work hard, and to learn skills to help me be competitive. I am looking forward to getting better at chess and hopefully one day become a grandmaster. And most importantly, to beat my brother. Next up, I'll represent Quincy Hall.
Hello, school board trustees. My name is Quincy Hall, and I'm an 8th grader at Hamilton Middle School. I'm considered the best member of the Hamilton chess team. I learned to play chess when I was around 8 years old, but didn't play consistently until last year when I joined the Hamilton Middle School Chess Club in its inaugural year. I didn't start competing, though, until this year. When I first joined the chess club, I had many doubts about my abilities and thought that I was worse than most. After deciding to compete in my first official tournament, I placed second, tied for first. I gained more self-confidence and decided to participate in more tournaments. After training for months and showing up every day, I joined my second and third tournaments, winning 2 more trophies. I've become more skilled and far exceeded my expectations. Chess has taught me to focus and practice on things I have interest in and am good at. It has also taught me to plan and focus in both chess, school, and life. I hope that with chess I can become more skilled, bringing back multiple trophies from even more tournaments, and finally achieving a first place trophy. And now, Jay Ferguson.
Yeah, thank you. So as we wrap up, we have a quick demonstration. We have Carla, a women's grandmaster, playing Jordan, hot stuff Jordan. This is one of the challenges that you guys can start whenever. This is one of their challenges that the older kids will be involved in. It's called Survive Carla. Carla gets 25 seconds, Jordan gets two minutes on the clock, and all he has to do is not get checkmated or run out of time. For the young kids, we have a program called the Pilot's License, where they learn essentially 7 levels of important skills to play chess. They get their pilot's license, which means they're ready to fly once they learn that. These guys are well beyond that. These guys are working on their fighter pilot patch, and probably the hardest piece of their entire program is to survive Carla. So if any of you would like to jump in and replace Jordan, if I were to say I need to pick somebody, your heart rates would start to go up. And that's just to appreciate what competitive chess really does to these kids. They have to learn to remain calm, to deal with setbacks, to hang in. An old chess coach told me at one point, even if you're going to lose, make sure they bleed from the ears on the way out. So it can be a very tough experience. Chess is only one of the many. Oh, he didn't survive? So if there are any questions, we'd love to answer anything you might be thinking of. Kids, Steve, myself, Carla.
So
Just a
thank
quick
you,
question.
board.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Got
Go
it.
ahead.
So,
Greg.
a women's champion versus men's champion. Why is there really any distinction?
Women's grandmaster versus grandmasters.
No, women's versus. I'm assuming there's a men's.
Carla, do you want to talk to why there's a women's grandmaster? She can beat him while she's chatting with you guys.
Is changing that fact, giving more girls, including Olivia, the opportunity to join chess, and we train together, and we go as a team together. So, like in science, like math and chess, we are trying to flip the coin, and I'm going to lose.
Good question.
Okay. Any other trustee? And
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve and Carla, Jay, Olivia, Jordan. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. What a talent.
I have only gone 3 steps. I've lost every time. I think it's great. All right. Hey, Hummel, you ready? Okay.
Can we do a picture? I think.
You're doing great.
Thank you, Leslie.
Hey, great job, guys. Great job.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, next we have Chris. Would you like to introduce them?
Yeah, so we're real proud tonight of the Novato High School Varsity Cheer and Dance Program. You go, girls. They went to a big competition, a nationals competition in Las Vegas, CIF Jams national competition, and they came home with another national championship. That's the 4th time in the last 5 years that they've received that. This is a young group of students and performers, some of them who are new to this sport. And we're just really proud of you, and we want to say congratulations to all the athletes and the coaches. And we look forward to many championships to come. We're going to show a quick video, and the girls can come on up. Let's do this first, and then do you want to launch this real quick, or what do you want? Okay, real quick, because we got to keep things moving. So let's,
This is day 2 at our competition.
ladies, come up and come forward. You can stand like
Come forward, please.
Come on around a little semicircle.
Thank you very much. I'd like to tell these girls how proud we are of them. This is my coach, Dolly. She's our head coach. We have Jamie over here who's hiding out. And I've coached for a really long time. But what we have is we have the older and we have the younger. And it really works for a really great coaching staff. I also would like to acknowledge my administration, my athletic director, our trainer, you know, down to our custodian. We know that when we go off to these competitions that we have our town behind us, we have our district behind us, and we definitely have our school behind us. And we are so proud to go and represent Novato High School. This is the youngest team I've ever coached in 28 years. We have 2.5 minutes on the floor. Day one, we were 0.1 ahead. So we went to an all-star gym, rented it for an hour because it was raining. We put in, 10 more gymnastics passes to total 50 passes to up our score. And we put in some extra dismounts. So it's all about how the kids do, how the coaches run it, and what they did is they went out there with talent, they went out there with dedication, and they went out there with heart. Yes. And Dolly would like to say that we ended up winning by 0.6 with a 95.4. So we took our division over 8 other top teams, and then we took our level over 61 other teams.
Wow.
So we are super proud of these girls. And we have 2 seniors, Jordan and Rosie. BB is our captain. And then we have Skylar, Gianna, Natalia, Kiana, Milana, Avanti, Avani, Jocelyn, Carly, Jaden, Abby, Briley, Sloan, Lexi, Molly, and last, Hannah. We are so proud of this team, and I can't tell you enough. Great year, girls. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Can we take a picture, please? Can we take a picture?
And I'd like to acknowledge Sunny for coming in the last few weeks and working on our gymnastics, which really bumped us up in our competition.
Thank you so much. Tom Cooper will take a picture with our superintendent. Okay, smile. We're so proud. Everybody say jams. Everybody say jams. Jams. Thank you so much. We are so proud. The team has a 3.2, a cumulative.
We are very into our grades, and every time we have a win, we just add that notch onto their college.
3.3? Awesome. Thank you so much. We're so proud.
Thank you, ladies. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, they're full of energy. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're so honored. Okay, now we'll take you to announcements, boards and superintendents and the student board members. And we have our student trustees here tonight. We've got Eva from Gogas. Well, let's wait till Okay, go ahead.
Good evening,
Introduce yourselves.
everybody. Pardon?
Introduce yourselves.
My name is Eva Gogas. I'm the Novato High Representative. So to start it out, tonight is our college night where students and families get to learn about the application processes to different types of colleges, private colleges, state schools, and stuff like that. And they get to learn about financial aid and just a support system for all of the kids. And then this week is our CASP testing hype week. So it's just to get all of our juniors ready for CASP testing next week. So on Monday, we had crafts and cookies in the library. On Tuesday, today, we had our student versus staff basketball game, and students won 30-27. It was a really good game, and we had a whole bunch of students there to watch. It was really fun. Tomorrow, we're having snacks in the library at lunch. And then on Friday at lunch, we're having our principal activities where we have a little wheel that students get to spin, and there's different things like our principals will have to, one of them is like finish the lyrics, and then another one is, I believe most of the principals signed up and they get to get pied in the face. So that should be pretty fun. So yeah, and then next week is the CASP testing on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then seniors have it for science. And then, what else do I got? Next week we have our sophomore speech finals. So on Monday, all of the finalists are going to compete, and then on Friday is when the winner gets to speak, and the whole school gets to come to that. For athletics, our spring sports are underway. So there's a softball game today and a girls and boys lacrosse games today. So hopefully we get a win out of that. And then for MSA, all of the auditions for incoming students are complete. So letters are going out of acceptance, which is really awesome. We have a soiree this Friday, which is pretty much like a talent show where any MSA kid gets to perform pretty much anything they want to. Next week is the Sonoma State Band Festival. And then on the 16th, we have the rock band show at Sweetwater Music Hall, which is really fun. And then at the end of the month, we have our Santa Cruz Jazz Festival. And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Elizabeth, could you introduce yourself?
Of course. Hello, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Deruvo, and I'm the student representative for San Marin High School. So for our status update, I'm going to start off with the fact that ASB is working hard for one of our biggest fundraisers of the year right now, which is the Senior Fashion Show on March 14th. And basically what that is the seniors, we borrow a lot of dresses and suits from other companies, and they lend it to us, and we do this huge fashion show. There's music and dinner, and we auction off some items, and it's a great hit every year, and so we're looking forward to that. Also, this was super exciting. The San Marin girls basketball team competed in the D3 NCS championship for the first time in school history last weekend. Unfortunately, they ended up losing, but we are so proud of them because they made it the farthest any San Marin team has ever come for basketball. So we are super stoked about that. Yeah. Last Thursday, I attended a school site council meeting with San Marin teachers, administrators, and PTA members to discuss the methods necessary to excel in the culture of caring, competence, and excellence. And we talked about some ideas on what we have to really enforce those ideals more efficiently in our school. This Thursday, March 5th, Rock Band performs at the Hot Monk at 7 p.m. They are a super talented group of people. I highly recommend going. And last but not least, the lacrosse season is finally beginning. Mm-hmm. And this Friday at home, at 5 p.m., girls varsity lacrosse is playing, and they are very excited for their season. So that's a wrap.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And DJ, can you introduce yourself? Please.
Hello, my name is DJ. I'm a senior at Marin Oaks. We have 15 students attending a conference for entrepreneurships this Friday with Mr. Early and Mr. Pacman, where we will work with adults who have started their own companies and cultivate our growth mindset. And there's also a special guest that Ms. Early will not tell us about. And then for our student advisory group, we are focusing on the topic of immigration and what that looks like in our community. And then with mask, we're probably going to go on the route of mental health and how that leads to drug abuse and substance abuse in students. Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, I voted today.
Great. Yay. Okay, great. Thank you so much. You guys are doing exactly this. You're engaging, you're inspiring, and you get to empower yourself and this other rest of the students. So thank you so much. Trustee Millerick. Okay, Trustee Nell. Okay, Trustee Gasson.
Okay, I have a couple. So, as we know, it's election night. So I just want to say, win or lose, we had a fabulous group of people working on the campaign. So very proud of all that they did. I wanted to say I appreciate everyone, the people that supported, the people pitching in. I know there was a lot of hours spent and a lot of interesting times along the way, but I think we should just be really proud of what we have done. So I look forward to hearing something later today, but expect that we probably won't know for sure for several days. I also wanted to report on the special ed meeting that was last week. We have a great group of NUSD staff and parents that are working together to develop more communication and better community, and they are looking at putting together a NUSD parent night on March 19th. It's from 6 to 7 p.m., and it's to brainstorm an ability awareness event. The meeting is open to all NUSD families, not just special ed families. So again, that's March 19th from 6 to 7 p.m. I believe it will be here, but they will be communicating information out as well. I also just would like to acknowledge that Heather Smith, our 16th District PTA President, did I get that right? Is here tonight. She actually, it's related to one of the items that we approved on the consent agenda, the School Smarts program. I had the opportunity to talk with Heather, it was yesterday, about some things, and she mentioned it, and I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a great program for our families, and I'm very much appreciate the staff for helping facilitate getting that here. I think it's going to make a huge difference. So thank you, and Heather, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Greg, Trustee Mack, Trustee Cooper.
I don't have any comments.
Okay, great. And our superintendent, Chris Koska.
I have a couple quick things. I just want to say to the community, I went out and talked to a lot of community groups about the parcel tax. Regardless of a group's typical political leanings, they were open-minded, they were welcoming to me, listened to what I had to say, asked hard questions. I feel like it was a really good opportunity for those in the community to learn about the great things that we're doing in our district and some of the needs that we're facing. So just want to thank the community for welcoming me. Obviously, we're spending a lot of time these days on our coronavirus or COVID-19, making sure that we're as prepared as we can be for any potential outbreak. Still hoping that that doesn't happen, but we got to be prepared just in case. And communicating. So thanks to the team for working on making sure we have necessary resources and supplies and helping with pushing out those communications. Finally, I had a family emergency. Everything's working out okay end of last week, and I just want to thank everybody, including the trustees, for their support and everybody for pitching in and helping while I was gone for a couple days. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we have the next item is our non-agenda public comment, and thank you, Trustee Gasson, for introducing her, Heather Smith. She will give us an update on the PTA. And as you already know, you have 3 minutes, and you can start now.
Hi, Diane attends our North Marin Council PTA meetings, and she thought it would be a really good idea that we come occasionally and give you an update on what we've been doing. So that's what I'm here to do tonight. Not talk about air conditioning, but thank you very much for it. I'm here tonight to give you an update on what PTA in Novato has been doing. As I had said the last time I was here, that PTA is mostly known as a fundraising group. All of the PTAs in Novato together raised almost $1 million to support our schools in the 2017-2018 school year. That's $972,855 to be exact. We all know that schools across California are approximately $30 billion short from being adequately funded, and PTA fundraising is merely just a drop in the bucket. So our PTAs have been busy advocating for children in schools by supporting funding efforts. All Novato PTAs, including North Marin Council, voted in support of Measure A. We have also been educating the community and advocating in support of Prop 13, the new Prop 13, and we have been busy collecting signatures to get school and communities first onto the November ballot. Another important initiative to PTA is the arts. We just wrapped up our Reflections Arts Contest, and we had our awards night and gallery show last Thursday. Diane, thank you for coming. Reflections is a national PTA program that provides an opportunity to win scholarship money. We had a total of 96 entries throughout the county. Another important initiative as we look forward to the next few months, we'll be working on voting in our board members for the next year and training those new leaders at our California State PTA convention in May. We are also looking to increase our membership as we are down 262 members from last year. So if you're not a member yet, please consider joining and supporting our efforts. One more thing that I'd like to mention for our high schoolers, if you're not aware, there's leadership opportunities in the California State PTA. We're looking for board of managers, student representatives for our board of managers. You can find more information on capta.org if you're interested. Applications are due soon, so please spread the word. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, this takes us to our next item, which is discussion action item number 13. So Chris, would you like to introduce our...
So Dr. Carter is going to come up and she's going to launch our next conversation about single plans for student achievement for our secondary schools. Last meeting we had our elementary principals, and tonight we have our secondary principals.
Hi, trustees. This is going to be the last time that I'm going to show you the dashboard data from this past year. As you know, we're now in the springtime and our students are engaged busily in taking their state testing. And so next time that I'm showing you dashboard data, it will be the results from the 1920 school year. But as you know, as a system, we've worked really hard to anchor ourselves between 3 core goals which align with the dashboard. Our goal number 1 is establishing a culture of caring and making sure that we're highly responsive to all of our stakeholders. This manifests in our dashboard in 2 different ways. The first one is absenteeism. And as I mentioned last time I was before you with the elementary team, we're really proud of the fact that we moved 9 subgroups in the orange and red and moved that down to 3. So looking forward, a lot of our work this year has been focused on absenteeism with our English language learners, our Hispanic students, and our students with disabilities. For our suspension element of the dashboard, last year we had 8 subgroups that fell into orange and red, and we're very proud that we moved down to only 2 subgroups. So we've been focusing on our African American and our homeless students when it comes to suspension and making sure that we have alternatives when students are in need. Our second goal that's important to our system, of course, is the culture of competence, and this is our multi-tiered systems of support. We measure this through our grad weight and our college and career readiness. Last year, we had 3 subgroups that ranked in orange and red, and we've moved down to only 1. And so our English language learners are an area of focus for a lot of our secondary schools to ensure that our English language learners are achieving higher rates of graduation. The other way that we measure this is through access to a broad course of study, and this is our college and career outcomes. These are students whose high school diploma includes A through G qualifications or CTE pathways or JROTC. In 2018, we had 4 subgroups that were in orange and red, and we moved that down to 1. So our English language learners are an area of focus for those A through G outcomes and making sure that those students are graduating college and career ready. Our third goal is the culture of excellence, and this is where we're looking at our proficiency-based education, making sure that we have the right metrics in the system and that our curriculum is aligned to those metrics to ensure that all of our students achieve mastery in math and English and science and all our foreign languages. This is an area of growth for us. Last year we had two subgroups fall in the orange and red, and in the 1920 school year that increased to now have 4. So we're looking hard as a system around our English language arts and how we can make improvements. The subgroups that fall into the red category for us are the homeless and students with disabilities. Orange is our English language learners and our African American students. This is also measured through our math dashboard. We maintained this year in those subgroup findings. And we have our African American students in red and our homeless students and students with disabilities that are still in orange. So, secondary school data. Do I have the right slide deck? Oh, this is our elementary. Do you have the secondary? So as we're pulling up the secondary data for you, perfect. So as we're pulling that up for you, the bigger story that we want to tell with you is how we're all working as a system. Last time I was before you, I was presenting our elementary single plans, and we had each school site look at their data and talk to their school site councils and reflect on how they as a school community plan to impact those metrics. Tonight you'll hear from our secondary teams who also are chasing those 3 big goals that we have for a system, and they're also focused on impacting those subgroups that we're seeing on the dashboard. So you'll see a lot of alignment with some of the messaging that you saw in elementary. I think it's very powerful as a system to see that from K to grade 12 that we're all chasing the same common goals. Tonight, just like with last time when my elementary team was here, we really want to show for you our data story. As you know, we've been meeting every month to examine our data, to come up with an action plan on how we plan to improve that. And principals have been accountable to examine that data, come up with a strategic plan, return the next month, reflect on that, create a new strategic plan as we develop sort of the science of improvement and professional learning. Absolutely.
So when you were going through some of like the graduation and the career, the graduation rate and not the suspension, the other one. My thought kind of came in mind, we were talking about English learners. Is there any analysis done on like when those students come in? Because I could see where if we get a student that comes in high school and doesn't know English, it's really hard at that point to learn English. And so is there some analysis done on that to kind of figure out, is this just because they just happen to come into our schools at this point, or is this that they started in kindergarten and they're not able to graduate still? Or, I mean, does that make sense?
Yep.
It seems like there can be a lot of different things feeding into that low or that concern on that.
Absolutely. We're going to bring before you here in the spring our English language learner master plan that's really going to answer those questions. What we've spent the last 8 months really examining how those students are supported in our system and what we can do better. And we've got a lot of innovative solutions that we plan on putting into effect.
So there's one group of students that we've historically struggled with, and that's the long-term English learners, or they call them LTELs. So those are the kids, so you're right, there's a mix of kids. There are kids that have come into our system and been English language learners all the way through the process, and they're still showing up in these numbers. So we need to work to make sure we're moving those kids along. And then there are other kids that come into our system sort of midstream, and they have that additional challenge of, coming in as a high school student who... Yeah, so we have both of those groups, and when they come forward with the master plan, you're going to see the different strategies we're going to use to support them. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll have a chance to ask more questions at the end of the presentation. So.
Definitely.
Okay, go ahead.
So I've included in your packet the dashboard achievement rates for all of our secondary schools for 2019. And this is really a starting point for our school site councils. They sit down with administration and teachers and classified and certified staff and put together what they feel as a school community is the smartest strategy in order to impact that. And so we're going to turn the time over to our principals, starting with San Jose Middle School, to share with you their data work as a school site council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Debbie Richardson, and I'm the proud principal of San Jose Middle School, and it's so nice to be here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the most exciting things about being in education is change. Change comes on us sometimes, and sometimes we pursue change. And working in middle school, we get to see a lot of change. Our students are changing before our very eyes. And so we wanted to point out to our school site council and really to ourselves that we are a changing school. And if you'll look at the data that's on the screen right now, you'll see that in the last 4 years, we've had a significant change in the demographics of our school. You'll notice that we don't have as many students as we used to. This is not a surprise, but also the makeup of our student body has changed significantly. If you'll look at our EL numbers going from 8.4% to 17.1%, that's a huge jump in just a few years, and it requires a certain agility on our part to be able to meet the needs of students that we've not seen before. Newcomers, for example, these are students who are just coming to us with no English or very little English, from 0.9% to 4.5%. That's a lot of newcomers, and they have very specific needs, which we are working hard to meet as a school, but we enjoy quite a bit of support from the system in general. So we feel good about the work that we're doing, but we also understand that when we're looking at data, we really need to keep this in mind. We have a different school than we had 4 years ago, and so just doing the same old thing that we've always done that was successful before is not going to be successful for us in the future. And so this requires sometimes relinquishing some ideas and some thoughts that have been held dear for a long time. So we're struggling with that, and we're working with that, but we're trying to keep our kids in the center of our focus so that we know that we're trying to meet their needs the way that we should. Do you have questions about this data, or shall we go forward? Yes.
Board? Yes, Trustee Millerick.
I have an interesting observation I would like your reflection on. I'm looking at the column identified as Hispanic, and it went from on the top row from 38% to the bottom row 49%, like a 10% growth. In the English language learners, it went from 8% to 17%. So clearly the Latino population is changing not just in head count, but in the makeup of the members of that community, or at least it looks like it from this. Could you speak to, and it doesn't look like the newcomer list is enough to justify that, so could you speak to that population transition you're going through?
So your question is, why does the newcomer number match the Hispanic increase?
My question is, why does the English language learners jump up so much more dramatically than Hispanic or newcomer? It seems like it's growing at a much higher rate, and I'm confused.
Why the EL number is growing more than the newcomer number?
Yeah, it's growing 10%, and newcomers grown 5%.
Because when we look at our EL population, there's 4 levels of ELs. So when someone comes in as a newcomer, that means that they have limited or no English at all. Other ELs come in with some level of English, and they could be an EL1, an EL2, an EL. So,
but they're not a newcomer. Then they're some other category.
Correct. So the newcomer doesn't necessarily reflect their status as new to the country, because someone could be new to the country but be an ELD2 because they've studied English abroad or been somewhere else.
Okay.
Good
Thank
question.
you for that clarification.
Thank you. Welcome. Anybody else? Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. Thank you. You've done it. I should have mentioned also in the previous slide that the increase in economically disadvantaged students has made us a Title I school. We used to be a targeted Title I school, as you know, and now we're full Title I. So this really puts some more responsibility on us for reporting and for making sure that we do the parent outreach that we need and the community outreach that we need. But set against all of these changes in our demographics, these are the data from last year. And so the green indicates areas where we met our targets for increase in CAS scores. And if you'll notice, we did very well last year against a pretty different kind of student. So we're very excited about the progress that we made last year, but if you look at the data for more than just a second, you'll notice that the gap still remains. And so this year we are looking to increase again another 5%, but we want to make sure that all of our subgroups increase by 10% or 10 percentage points. So we are aware of the gap that continues, but we are pleased with the improvement that we've made so far. When we look at our data, we really want to look at our EL population because it's as big as it is and because we feel like middle school is critical for our EL population. And the reason is if we're thinking about college and career readiness, we want our EL students to go in redesignated into high school so that they can immediately take advantage of A to G offerings. So last year we were able to redesignate 21.7% of our students, which is good but not good enough. EL movement, this is our track of moving from EL students from ELD 1 to ELD 2 to 3 to 4. So 41% of our students either maintained or raised a level. Our MAP ELA scores, 47% are looking at level or met or exceeded their targets. The percent of students with Ds and Fs is something that we measure because it shows success in mastering the curriculum that we're establishing. So these are the numbers that we put in front of school site council. We want to use this as a call to action. What do we need to do here to go forward?
Okay,
right,
thank
does-
you so
does
much.
that-
No, we have, and then you can go second. We have trustee Cooper
Well, thanks,
first.
Miriam. Just a quick question. So EL movement was 41.6. What is your target? What would you ideally like to see that?
We are actually
Realistically.
hoping that 80% of students, 80% of EL students will make 1 year of progress in each year.
So 40%, 41%
Yeah,
is, there's a lot of work.
it's a
for
big,
improvement.
hairy, audacious goal, but yes, that is it.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Okay, trustee Gasson?
Sorry about that. So when you say percent students with Ds or Fs, does that just mean 1? Does that mean 2, or just?
I just counted the students. So a student here that counts as a student with a D could have 4 Ds, but this is a student that has at least 1 D.
So that's the question. So at least 1 D. So it doesn't. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And so because of the district's focus on these 3 areas, the culture of caring, the culture of competence, and the culture of excellence, we aligned our goals around that too. We've really found that these 3 goals, although they are big, really encompass all the work that we want to do with our students and work that has been done prior to my arrival and last year around equity. It just all is starting to come together in a really nice package about what we're trying to do for students. So in culture of caring, we've really worked hard at establishing relationships at our school. We changed the way that we open school. We reinvigorated our web program. Which is the orientation for 6th graders, 8th graders, mentoring 6th graders. And we've been able to keep that alive all year this year. So the 8th graders continue to mentor 6th graders and continue to help our younger students adjust to middle school. We've had an excellent team of web leaders, and we anticipate that we're going to have another wonderful team next year. So we're very happy with the success of that program. We also turned over our first days to a more relationship-building experience for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders so that we try to tie our students to our school and to each other and to our staff so that we can build this student engagement that we think will make a difference in the long run. Again, our work with restorative justice, trauma-informed practices, all of these things are really changing the face of how we work with students every day. So, for example, if you had I was a high school assistant principal, and did a lot of suspensions in my day, and it's a lot faster to sit down with someone and say, okay, well, that's 3 days, bye-bye. So the work that we're doing now takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of resource, and so I'm really proud of our staff for kind of thinking outside the box, sometimes working through some discomfort around restorative practices, but we continue to work with the support of the district and the district personnel who help us, and we are seeing changes in children. So we are very happy with the work we're doing there. I have to tell you today, I came before you last year saying I want to do 7 periods because I really want to have enrichments for students, and surprisingly that didn't work out as well as I had thought. But we have this fantastic PTA, and we have this wonderful cadre of adults who want to help students. And today, this very day, we brought robotics to San Jose Middle School for the first time. So we're super happy about that. Thank you. We're very happy. And we have 6 programs running now after school, including an art class for students who typically can't access those kinds of electives because they're in ELD or special ed. So super happy about that. In the culture of competence, this actually kind of goes to the question you asked about long-term ELs. We are piloting a program called Avid Excel. So you know that we do have a wonderful Avid program at our school. There is a program that's specifically designed for students who are long-term ELs. So it continues language acquisition, but also starts with goal setting and college focus and career focus. So we're piloting this year, super successful, and next year we want to add another section of that and then push all of those strategies out through the school so that we're supporting all of our all of our LTELs and our EL learners throughout the school with those strategies. So we've invested quite a bit of time and money in that. We've trained 6 other teachers, 6 other mainstream teachers in Avid Excel strategies, and so we'll continue to work on that this year. And let's see what else. We continue to work with MTSS. We have our math department is leading the way with really clear proficiency scales and learning targets that tell students what they need to learn and how they need to what they need to do to perform well. And so again, that's been a heavy lift, explaining what a 3 is and a 2 is to parents and to students, and also giving students opportunities to retake tests and rework on learning targets. It's a lot of work that our teachers are doing. It is just amazing the amount of hours that they're putting in on that. But it is helping students to understand that if I didn't get it this time, maybe if I stay with it, I could get it a second time. So again, we're pleased with the work that we're doing. We try to align ourselves completely with the district goals because they make sense and because they pull everything together that we've been working on over time. Questions?
Yeah, any questions? Board, yeah, trustee.
I look forward to coming in and visiting your robotics program, so I'll give you a call and pick a time that works for you guys.
Please do, and you can also see our self-defense program. We just finished speech and debate, and so we're continuing to add programs. Seems like almost every week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Trustee.
I just want to.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Greg.
Just want to say I'm happy to hear that we're finding ways to get options for kids who can't take an elective because they have required classes. Everything we can do in that direction, we've got to keep doing it because it's bad enough that they have to take that class and then they're kept out of whether it's an arts class or a language, something that's going to help them even get better with what they want to do and pursue their passions.
And prepare them to enter high school with some sort of interest that just bonds them to that school too.
And also too, not to keep them viable or available to go to the MSA route. And,
Gateway to MSA.
Yeah.
That's right. Any other questions? Okay, let's continue.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so all right. We'll continue with our single plans for student achievement. All right, next we have, thank you very much.
Perfect. All right, my name is Jeff Wallace. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the principal at Sinaloa Middle School, and I'm really excited to present our school site plan to you guys tonight. I just wanted to start off with, I was asked to describe the school and I really strongly believe Sinaloa is a highly successful school. We have a very diverse and vibrant student body. I think that's a misconception a lot of times with Sinaloa, that we're not as diverse as many of the other schools in Nevada. We are a very diverse school. Our students are very passionate. It's a vibrant, great student body. And students at Sinaloa, we want them to achieve, grow, and develop their passion for learning. So it's not just about doing well on tests, but really that they're developing their passion for learning, and they really, they want to be a lifelong learner. That's what we're really shooting for. Just some of the highlights of some of the data that we've been looking at as a school site council. Our CAS scores, our state testing scores, improved both in English and math last year. We're really proud of the work of our staff on that metric, and we're hoping to continue that growth going forward. One of the things that we really worked on this year was just building relationships with staff and administration, with staff and students, with parents and administration, parents and students, and we focused on that from the beginning. And as you can see in the Youth Truth data, that really showed in the data this year. We're really proud of that. This is this year's current data. We jumped from, it looks like around the 7th percentile last year, all the way up to 47th percentile in that staff and administrators care about each other. And that was something that we really focused on, because we know that if teachers don't feel like they're supported by their administration and supported by their site leaders, that's just going to carry down to the students and make them less successful. So that was something we were very proud of. And we also focused a lot on building relationships with students. That's teachers to students and also students with each other. So we've done a lot of activities like Friendship Day. We've had a lot of events with ASB that have really tried to build that community at the school. And in the Youth Truth data, I think you really see that when we ask the kids, do you feel like you're part of your school's community? We saw a massive jump in the data there from around the 50th percentile to now we're in the 73rd percentile of all schools in California. So really proud of the work that we've done in building those relationships. The culture of caring is something we really take seriously at Sinaloa. Just a few of the goals that we're working on this year. Big goal, school will focus on creating a culture of caring with students and staff. That's number one, because we know that when students feel cared about by their teachers and by staff, they're going to perform for those teachers, they're going to do better, and they're going to want to come to school, they're going to want to be successful. And we're also working on our trauma-informed teaching, so we're sending many of our teachers to trauma-informed practices training. We're doing a lot of SEEDS, restorative justice training with our staff, and we're working on creating a climate and culture team. By the next year, our goal is to get a really strong climate and culture team developed at our school to really focus on building positive climate and culture for all of our students. And we're also just really looking at the Youth Truth survey to show that staff feel supported and that their professional development is meaningful to them. So one of the things in our data that we looked at was that staff they want more out of our professional development. And so we're really going to work with them this year to figure out, what we can do to make sure that our staff feel that the professional development is valuable for them. And just some of the ways that we're going to do that, we're going to be using this restorative justice work, which has been it's a major mindset shift for a lot of staff members who are used to the old detention, suspension kind of model of dealing with student discipline. So we're doing a lot of, and as Ms. Richardson said earlier, it takes a lot more time, it takes a lot more work and a lot of effort, a lot more meetings, but it's worth it. We really see the students doing so much better, and we see the continuation of the bad behaviors lessening dramatically when we have those kinds of meetings and take the time. And we're looking at our suspension rates. We're really working on trying to reduce those. We're really looking at every time we have a suspension, or we think we're going to have a suspension, myself, my vice principal, my dean, we all meet together. We talk about, are there alternatives we could use? Is there anything else we could do in this situation that would be effective? And we always try to look at alternatives and ways that we can work with kids so that they're not being sent home from school, but that they're staying here and we're working with them. And our last goal that I wanted to talk about is just, we really want, like I said, we want to work on that professional development. So we're going to be continuously surveying our staff and just making sure that a minimum of 75% of our staff respond that their PD time is excellent or good, and that's our goal. And so we're just going to continue after every PD to keep monitoring that and getting feedback from them and making sure that they feel it's successful. So. Hold on, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Any questions? Yes, Trustee Gasson.
So I actually saw, I had the opportunity to be at the school site today because my daughter's at Sinaloa, so I saw some of this. But one thing that I actually had seen at the time, and I'm curious about, and the professional development. Is that something I think I had more visibility at the elementary, that we were pulling teachers out so much and doing a lot, and so we were kind of going on a hiatus this year. Was that the same for middle school or no?
I think for professional development, there's a combination of both. So there is district-provided professional development that teachers are participating in, like the SEEDS restorative justice training. There's MTSS trainings that we're doing, and then there's also the site-based professional development. So there's a combination of both things. And I think that when teachers get to kind of choose what they like and what's valuable to them, they find that most valuable. So I think where we can provide choice for teachers, I think is where we see teachers feeling like it's more valuable. So there's certain things that teachers sign up for and they want to do, and certain things that they kind of have to do.
Right.
And so it's really working on, giving them as much, just like students, right? They want to be able to have some control over their learning, and so teachers are the same way.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I was feeling like we tried to make it easier, or not easier, but lessen the load. So I was kind of surprised, but then realized maybe it's different when you're in middle school, that there wasn't such a so much of it happening. So yeah, okay. And then I just wanted to just let the board know and just kind of speak on the fact of how I love using the Youth Truth Survey data. I think it is so important, and I love seeing it incorporated into these models, and the school site councils using that information to help decide how things are gonna, where we're gonna go. I think it's great seeing those dashboard, but getting actual input from parents and students and the teachers to define kind of where they see that we might have, things that we need to improve on. To me, is just huge. So I love how you incorporated it throughout here, and I hope that we can continue to use that, because we are seeing now year to year results, and being able to compare and figure out where we need to do better and where we're doing good.
Thank you. And then this year or next year, we can also compare that data with the Chicks survey as well,
Yep,
too.
that's correct.
That's coming up this year.
Yep.
So the other survey.
California Healthy Kids Survey. It's something we do every other year.
Yeah. So and then together it's even better. It's just amazing information. Okay. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
So next we have Novato High School.
Great. Good evening, members of the board. I'm Mark Brewer, principal at Novato High School. Thanks for having us here this evening. So I'll walk you through our slides and talk to you about our areas of focus at Novato High. Here's some trending data that I've put up for the last 2 years. Attendance rates, one we're really focused on. I just pulled that at the end of the semester. We're up to 97.1 right now, but that could change as we get closer to the end of the year. I hope the trend stays the same. Another point about that's pretty good, given the fact we went from 1,382 students to 1,455. So the schools had some significant growth, which is good. We have a lot of out-of-district people seeking to come into Novato, which is another plus. So that's been pretty good. CASP, you can see 18-19 comparisons. I consider we did really well this past year, given the fact we had over 100 students opt out last year of CASP. It's kind of an interesting trend. They hit us the Sunday night before testing, and parents started emailing, and it just bled out, and we ended up at about a 65% participation rate, which is super low. And the bulk of the 100 kids that left were AP students. And what we found was we'd pressed it a little too close to AP testing, so they were feeling stressed, and too many tests in too narrow of a window. So we've adjusted that this year. But in math, we went from 41% to 36%, so we got a bit of a decline. We actually increased in English language arts, which was good. We went from 61 to 66. We've done some significant advertising around the value of CASP with parents, which has made a big difference. To this point, we test next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, which we move the window way up so that kids aren't compressed into this stressful testing window. And to date, we've had 2 people opt out. So I'm anticipating a really high participation rate this year. I personally went in and spoke with all juniors during classes this past week and kind of answered questions and got them pumped up to do their best on the test. I hope that makes a difference. I know kids like to see me and interact with me, so that to me is of value. So hopefully that'll make a difference. Our graduation rate ticked up between 18 and 19, which is a good thing. We went from 91 to 93%. We will find out the answer to that question in 20 and around June 11th. Suspension rate is dropped, which is good. We've implemented a lot of alternatives to suspension, restorative justice practices and different things, which is reducing our suspension rate. And then expulsion stayed flat. We had 2 in 18 and we had 2 so far in 19.
Okay.
I'll go one more. So this slide just shows the monitoring goals that we share with our site council and our entire staff and school community. We're focused around a culture of caring. We have positive behavior supports and interventions we're working on, restorative practices, wellness campus, which is a big initiative and shift this year. We've opened up an East Annex, which has a wellness room. We have a different BACR counseling support system that does group work with a lot of our students. And we've developed a wellness campus philosophy. And there's also a slide I inserted that's got some data. My last slide I'll share with you around the wellness program. Systems improvement, we continue to work on. We have a lot of paperwork within our system, and one thing that we found that we're trying to get rid of is a lot of the paperwork says principal's signature, but it actually could be any administrator. So instead of me signing my name a couple hundred times a day, we're dispersing that and changing the forms so that it says just administrator on it. That way other people can help in signing off on different documents. We've streamlined our ordering process in-house, the way teachers order and get supplies. And then we're working on communications. We do a weekly thing called the Friday afternoon memo that comes out from admin. And the FAM has an update of everything that's going on for the week and teacher information. I usually contribute. This year I've done a wellness theme. So every week I put out a wellness message or a subject around adult wellness as well as student wellness. We're working on proficiency-based education, English language learner development. We've revamped our newcomers program, how we're servicing kids within the school day, the different structure of support classes. We continue to work on the graduate profile and the 6 C's. Our teachers have implemented proficiency scales and are in the midst of developing proficiency scales depending on the content area. So that proficiency-based education work is continuing on. We also have many departments, at least 2 for sure, that have shifted to a 1 to 4 scale and starting to do mastery-based grading. I'm finding that that's a big learning curve for parents, more so than students, because they're like, what's this? This doesn't look like when I was in school. What happened to the 100-point scale? Are you gypping my student? Are they really learning? So it's a communication effort to keep letting people know this is actually a way better way to assess students, and it's fair for students. A 1 through 4 is better than, because 60 and below is a huge amount of loss for a kid. With a 1 through 4, with a 3 being an A, not a 4. A 4 is exceeding mastery. So it's a really fair scale, and it's working out pretty well. So we're working on just educating people around that. And then we're working in conjunction with the district on multi-tiered systems of support. We're involved. We have a team that meets, and we're doing that planning process to continue that work over the next few years to implement more supports. Currently, we've implemented office hours, which is going well at Novato High. I find that students access it and use that time really wisely. It's a great time twice a week. It's an hour each session where they can access teachers, move around campus, and get help with work, make up tests, and sometimes just hang out. Read a book, hang out with their friends, visit, ask somebody to prom, which are all good things for students. And they love to be social, so it's a great time for them to just interact and relax. Next slide is just a quick shot. This is what we put together at mid-year about our wellness efforts. This slide's got a lot of detailed information on who we're serving, number of kids we're seeing, how that is working out with us, what we're doing with that wellness approach. We've had a great wellness week. We offered over 100 different breakout sessions. Teachers did different wellness activities during office hours. Our students signed up, and we had outstanding participation. Both days we only had about 200 students that didn't sign up, and those students showed up somewhere. And so teachers did knitting and yoga and how to make cookies and all these different really cool activities that they did for our students. We also followed up on the Wednesday previous to that. We did a wellness day in the Wednesday early release for our faculty. So they attended different wellness activities that we put on for the adults on our campus the week before. That went really well as well. So this gives you kind of an idea of where we're headed with wellness and all the efforts we've put into it this year. It's an evolving, growing program, but it certainly is reflected in a different tone with students on the campus. You can see it, or obviously with attendance improving, kids are feeling better about coming to school, which is super important. So we'll just keep up the work, and hopefully we'll be yielding better results each year as we move forward.
Okay, thank you. I have a question. Do you have this, the last slide, that one, in a bigger print?
I'll send you an email. We had some colored ones printed here that are a lot easier reading. I'm sorry, that is really.
That's okay. I need to see an eye doctor.
Yes, I'm the same way. I'll work with Amy and we'll get you a colored copy to each of you that's a little bigger and easier to read.
No problem.
That way you're not frustrated.
And then I would like to ask the student board members, especially Novato High, if they have any comments.
Implemented, especially. Oh, yeah. I really like all the new things that we've implemented, especially office hours, because being a junior, it's the heaviest year where there's a lot more work, and it gives me time where I can go into my teachers and talk to them about things that I need or get help on certain things. Sometimes I can just relax, so I'm gonna be in the rock band performance in a few weeks, so we're working on our songs, and since CASP testing is next week, we're missing out on a class time to work on our songs and stuff, so we got to work on that today, and it's a really nice time where we get to work on stuff that we need personally rather than in a group setting. So I don't know, I think it's really nice.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for your presentation. I had a quick question to ask you on one of the previous slides. I think it was about the statistics about CASP testing.
Yes.
I was just wondering, I saw a few percentages, and I was wondering what they represent under the CASP area. Are those the amount of students that decided to take the test, or is that how you guys are placing and ranked out of California? I was a little bit confused.
No, it's a great question. If you look at the math, the 41%, those are the students that met or exceeded the standard on the test. So that's a percentage of our students that passed.
Oh, wow.
In essence. And then the 36 would be the percentage that passed, met proficiency or exceeded it in year 2019, and it's the same for English.
Got it.
So that is the percentage of the students. So 300 tested, and out of that 300, 41%, so roughly 150 of the students were proficient or better on the exam.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I was wondering, for your school, I know, you said the participation increased drastically.
We're hoping this year it should. We've only had 2 students request for an opt-out this year, and we test next week.
That's awesome news.
It is good.
What do you do to kind of increase the students' readiness for CASP testing? Because I didn't know the importance of it, truly until a few weeks ago when I was looking up about it. And the whole WASC accreditation thing, that's some scary stuff.
That's a great question. Great question.
It is. It is scary as a principal. It's always scary because that's how we're measured.
Yeah.
Right? That bottom line, that is how we're measured.
Mm-hmm.
We have many good things, same as San Marin. All the schools in our district have all these great things going on, but it all comes down to high-stakes testing because that's what we report to the public.
Yeah.
So for us at Novato High, I spend a lot of time working with our staff. They've bought into changing how they teach, reassessing kids, going to a 4-point scale for mastery. And so a lot of it's just working with teachers to view curriculum and delivery differently. We have teachers that give students the option of oral tests in social studies. When they retake them, they don't make them take the same test over. If they're nervous or have a hard time, they extend their time. So we've got a lot of things happening where teachers are taking the initiative to help students reach mastery and differentiating that approach. Instead of saying, oh, no, you all take a 100-point multiple choice test, they're adding differentiation to allow kids to demonstrate learning in different ways, which I think helps bring students into the process. And then a lot of educating our teachers and students the value of the data that we get from CASP, because it is value to our school, and it's a value to use as a student, because the example I give, a school that does well is Saratoga High School down in Sunnyvale. They typically have really high CASP scores in math and English, some of the best in the state. Well, if you're competing with a student from there from San Marin and you've both got straight A's, both 4.0 student, universities look at CASP. They look at the dashboard and see the validity of that test versus both those student populations. So it could be a dividing factor if we're continually performing lower.
Yeah.
That school might have a little bit more credibility in the process because they're performing higher on these standardized tests. So students, when that resonates with them, it's like, oh, so that does make a difference for me.
Yeah.
So a lot of my conversations have been meeting and talking with students in junior level classes about the importance of the test and what it means for us as a community and you personally as a student.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I love what you guys are doing.
Thanks.
Trustee DJ and then Trustee Millerick.
Hi. I just wanted to say I love your guys' idea of a wellness center. I love that you guys are pushing mental health awareness because I think it's important that a student's mental health, it also contributes to their success as a student, which is very, very important. I think that wellness centers should also be included on other campuses. That would be a really cool idea, and I love that you guys are doing that and having all these activities throughout the day and having breaks for students to take time for themselves. I think that's a really, really good idea, and I love that you're doing that for your students.
Thanks. Yeah, we hope to help other schools incorporate the same thing and replicate that.
Yeah.
We're kind of a pilot program. We took the initiative this year to run a pilot and see what kind of traction we could get, but I agree it makes a big difference. It helps my mental health.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Millerick. Okay, so thank you so very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Good job. Okay, next we have. All right. Next we have Marie Oaks.
Hi, good evening. Kessa Early, Principal of Alternative Ed. Thanks for having me. So tonight I'm going to focus on Marin Oaks. Here you see a snapshot of our demographics in February of this school year. So far we've served a total of 106 students, and we had our highest enrollment in January at 90. And since that time, since January, we've graduated 7 students with open exit and 1 exited to adult education. We continue to have a larger male population with 63%, and we have a disproportionate number of students of color that are enrolled with us. Here you'll see that we continue to have a decrease in suspension. In 2018, we decreased by 11.8%. 2019, we decreased by 1.5. This is my 13th or 14th year at Marin Oaks, and it's been my pleasure to kind of watch how the county and the district has taken restorative practices under their wing. Marin Oaks was the very first school in Novato and one of the first in the Bay Area to incorporate and implement restorative practices. And so we have consistently evolved from youth court to youth circle, and now it's just embedded in the fabric of our culture. We strongly believe in restorative practices, and our students thrive as a result. For college and career, our Bridges program has been an incredibly important part of our student development. And then our Youth Truth results indicate that our student, staff, and parents are overall pleased with the Marin Oaks environment. An area of development is an academic rigor, with our lowest rating of a 3.76. In all other key ratings, Marin Oaks rated at the top of the percentile ranking. Okay, so our goals. Following in line with the district goals of culture of caring, culture of competence, culture of excellence, Marin Oaks focused on the same 3 goals. At Marin Oaks, we demonstrate the importance of caring by valuing every student voice. We practice inclusivity and building healthy, strong relationships with students each and every day. This year, we expanded our partnership with other alternative schools in Marin by creating a student leadership with MASK. With Wendy over there from YLI. She's helped lead us in that way. And the kids have been focusing on mental health and have really expressed an appreciation of working with other students in alternative schools in Marin. So that's been a great project. Our culture of competence is demonstrated by our expansion of Bridges, our focus on the importance of self-care for both staff and students, and then our implementation of Flex Fridays. We have a culture of excellence because we provide intervention support, as well as an expanded partnership with College of Marin for our more ambitious learners. And then how are we holding ourselves accountable? By tracking data. For our culture of caring, we know the importance of learning. How many of our students are participating in our committees and in our enrichment courses? For Q1, we had 64% of our students participating in our enrichment courses. Some of those are meditation, culinary class. We have restorative practices, Interact Club, things of that nature. And then in Q2, we had 75% of our students participating in our enrichment courses. Students and staff take an annual survey where they list the connections on campus. And over the last 10 years, we have a consistent percentage of 90% of our students reporting that they feel connected to at least one or more staff on campus. It's my belief that students feeling connected to staff and having that relationship is key of their success. That's what the driving focus is, we believe, the driving force, I mean. We demonstrate a culture of competence by having a strong support system in place that offers a variety of high and low level support. With students experiencing more stress than ever, ensuring that their needs have been met and they learn the necessary skills to decrease anxiety, depression and fear, and continue to be our top priorities, focusing on that mental health and wellness. With a continued focus on mindfulness and having our students meditate every morning, it is our goal that students will use mindfulness as a way to self-regulate, reset, and realign their bodies. Over 60% of our students meet with Bay Area Community Resource Counselors, and other support systems in place include tutorial, internships, job shadowing, graduate profile, report cards, Flex Friday, writing workshops, and so many other different kinds of support so that our students feel valued and they know that they can reach out if they need us. We have demonstrated our culture of excellence this year by offering two additional College of Marin classes. And so we're offering Microsoft Office and Hospitality Management during the school day on campus, taught by a College of Marin professor. So this is huge, that we have 25 of our students who are at risk of not graduating on time from high school are now taking college courses and successfully passing those courses with a proper amount of support. So this is really exciting. Yay! So in closing, there are a lot of exciting things happening on the Hill campus. While I didn't focus on NOVA, please know that NOVA is also doing a great job of supporting and valuing students. The entire Hill staff continues to work hard to be inclusive. We've created a strong sense of belonging, and as a result, our students and staff are both thriving. So thank you.
Thank you so much for wearing so many hats.
Yeah, only two now, or I guess are two, but yeah, but
no,
not
you went
three
from
anymore.
from 3 to 2. So thank you. Board, any questions? Okay, wonderful. So that, I believe. Okay, thank you so much.
We got a question.
We have a
Madam
question.
President?
We do have a question.
I have one question. Are you guys still serving food on Friday afternoons?
We are, but it's at 10:45 in the morning now because of Flex
Okay.
Friday. So yes, please come and enjoy a meal made by our culinary class on Fridays at 10:45.
10:45, just,
Yeah, it's
okay.
really good. They're amazing, and the pride that they have as they're serving the food and knowing that they've done all of this on their own it's really incredible. So yeah, so please come by.
What was the percentage of students that get served by VACR?
60%.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then we also have great partnerships with like STOP. It's a nonprofit that comes in. They do music therapy with some of our students, and we have so many great partnerships that I think really help give our kids other opportunities for success.
And everybody meditates every day?
Every student meditates in every classroom for the second period. Yes, for 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is a great example of how it takes a village. So thank you for all the principals and PTAs and all the council. And so
San
San
Marin's
Marin,
coming next.
we got one more.
Yep.
Hi, Mark Sims from San Marin. Thought you were going to pass over me. That's
Hey,
quite
no.
I was
Good
just-
thought, though.
No, just thanking
So,
everybody.
That's quite all right. I'm here to serve. So we kind of created a narrative that starts with a question. I better put my glasses on. I can't see that. So under Culture of Caring, it's basically under this kind of question that nobody knows my story. So we looked at different ways that we could address the fact that nobody as a student knows my story to help them. And we focused on restorative practice, TUPE, and focal students, which is mainly department driven. So some data points for using TUPE to address tobacco use prevention education. That's what TUPE stands for. We have had 18 restorative justice sessions this first semester through TUPE, led by our TUPE coordinator, and we reduced our suspensions from tobacco use from 22 the previous semester, previous year, first semester of previous year, to 2 this first semester. So we're pretty proud of that. We hope that that will continue the more we get involved with that, and especially the more our peers get involved with TUPE. Focal Students was created by Dr. Michelle Lefebvre-Burnt and the equity team at the high school. Every teacher selects a student. Typically, it is a student that is disengaged, an EL student. Student hasn't been coming to school, and they try to provide some one-on-one conversations and keep a very close eye on the achievement, the attendance, and how that student might be feeling in terms of their attachment to school. So what we have noticed for that, and what we'll find out, is have these students achieved from the point of this year, about October when those students were selected, to the end of the year? Did student achievement improve? Did we reduce the DNF rate? Did the students' CASP result go up? One of the conversations that I had with our staff early on is we have 11 English learners taking the CASP exam as juniors this year. The school has never had an English learner meet or exceed on CASP, and that's pretty doggone embarrassing. You can't tell me we can't get one student. So a number of the students, a number of our teachers have selected English learners to be their focal student. And they meet in departments to follow up and use things like consultancy protocols to help support student achievement, attendance, and so on. And Dr. LB leads with the equity team 1 to 2 sessions of professional development a month on focal students. And the last thing, our total suspensions with regards to restorative practice, we've gone from 4.6 suspensions, suspended students to 1.6. We reduced our suspension rate 2.5% from the first semester, so we're pleased with that. Any questions you may have on that first slide? Or I could just finish them all and you can throw
Go
them
ahead,
out.
finish.
Finish them all? Great. So the second one is culture of competence, involving supporting students. And, oh, I'm stressed. I think if you recall the Seinfeld line there. Thank you. Thank you, Ellen. To look at students in crisis, social, emotionally, academically. So we looked at that in 2 different ways. Once we have a counselor collaborative. You can see who that involves. They meet twice a month to discuss students, to keep up with those students who may be in need of assistance. And a second is tutorial. So I'll address some data on the counselor collaborative. Those one-on-one meetings with regards to attendance take place with our assistant principals and a counselor. And we have noticed that our attendance has improved 1%. It's small, but we're at 96% and approaching 97%. And we also have noticed through BACR, we have had fewer from 64 to 57 students using our first semester data from last year to this year. And we believe that we have done a better job of identifying students that need support before they go through BACR. So there's a couple pieces to that. Tutorial, every Wednesday, you can see kind of the amount of time that we support that. Our EL DNF rate has, we've reduced 2% from the first semester of last year to this year, and our overall school DNF rate has been reduced by 1.4%. So small numbers, but it's only been a semester of supporting that. We'll see where that goes. We're in discussion right now talking about reforming our English learner tutorial, and we'll see where that goes for next year. Lastly is, you did it? Oh, amazing. Thank you, Ellen. Is a culture of excellence, and that's try to address our English language arts and math proficiency. And I want to talk a little bit about our math. We use the MDTP, which is the Math Diagnostic Testing Project, to the UC system. We partner with UC Berkeley. It's our closest UC school. And our MTTP exam was given about the second week of school, late August, and we just completed it with Algebra 1 geometry and Algebra 2, which is what I'm going to talk about tonight. Last week, our last exam was given. Algebra 1, we saw an increase of 8% from our assessment data in August to this week. We have 70% students meeting what's called the critical level, which means they've achieved mastery. In geometry, we had an 8% growth, and in Algebra 2, we had a 13% growth from our August exam to our exam that we just had 2 weeks ago. And the key point here in the math department is taken under their, kind of under their wings, I suppose, is looking at data to inform instruction. And one of the areas, for example, in Algebra 1, our linear equations, we increased 14% from our first score to our score that we had in February, meaning that they changed their teaching to try to improve students' mastery in linear equations. There's about 6 strands within each exam. So we're particularly proud of that. Yeah, line's going up. Not up enough, but it's getting there. Yes, sir. Yeah, I got you. Do you recall?
I guess my joke wasn't fine.
Yeah.
We'll just keep it
Dr. Koska, I was an English major, so that was a stretch for me to get that. So I appreciate the wink. So, any questions you may have for me?
Forward.
Plenty more to share, but 5 minutes was kind of or
Forward.
less was our time frame.
Any questions from the board? Nope. Okay. Oh, Elizabeth.
Mr. Ruvo, yes, ma'am.
Good to see you, Dr. Sims.
Always a pleasure to speak with you.
Oh, thank you. I have one question about the whole like math improvement situation. When you guys are monitoring, are you guys starting to focus from like Algebra 1 and up? Like, did you guys have any results on like pre-calculus and calculus yet on like that area?
We do. I didn't include it in the slide, but generally what happened with our Trig Pre-Cal and Calc AB and BC exams from MDTP is we saw improvement. Most were about 8% from the pre to post overall. That's taking everybody's scores. We had some a little higher than others, but that's generally where we stand.
Awesome.
I think one of the unique things that Algebra 1 had a pretty consistent, wow, our students didn't do well in these 2 areas. In geometry, we had it all over the place. Do understand it was a pre-assessment for geometry. Maybe students might not do as well, but after teaching, we found that students improved, especially in those lower areas. And the purpose of the exam is for our teachers to look at what went well, what didn't, have conversations about who might have done well, and change their practices and adjust their teaching. So in the end result, when we get to the CASP, students are prepared.
Got it. Thank
And
you
then
so much.
they do the best they can.
Any other board trustees have questions? Okay, great.
Thank you.
So thank you so very much. Again, great example. Thank you to all who participated. Amy, appreciate it. Dr. Carter, thank you. Okay, this is a action item. So I'd like to go ahead and ask the question.
Are you asking for a motion?
Exactly. All
I'll
in
approve.
favor? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve
Okay.
the 2019-2020 single plans for student achievement for Hamilton K-8 through and secondary schools.
All right, thank you. In a second? Okay, Trustee Mack. Okay, so that's, ask the question now. So all in favor? Okay, 6-0, 1 absent. Okay, wonderful. That leads us to our next item, which is also a discussion action, and it's the approval of 2 new classified job descriptions as part of maintenance, operations, and transportation restructuring. And we're going to ask Jonathan Ferrer to come up. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Trustee Aguirre. Good evening, trustees. Jonathan Ferrer, Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources. This discussion action item is in follow-up to the previously approved reorganization of our Maintenance, Operation, and Transportation Department. Before you are job descriptions for maintenance foreman and school bus mechanic foreman. These job descriptions were crafted by considering similar positions, as well as by identifying the unique needs of the district. Should you approve these job descriptions, the district intends to post and fill the positions immediately. With this, the district is recommending you approve this action item. I can take questions or hear comments at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Yes, Trustee Miller.
I assume you're bringing this item, which is a follow-on to the earlier program, so all of the assumptions that we were making, and then we hired Mr. Alvarez to come and lead a department half the size he was promised. He's still with us. The plan's going according.
Mr. Albini, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Albini, pardon me. Yep, yes. Everything's according to plan?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, these are fine. It's just, we made some very big assumptions that this would work. So
Yes,
I'm
and
just
things-
asking, since you're in the middle of this and we're not, you're standing behind the plan?
Absolutely. Things are moving as we predicted them to move, very smoothly. And I think these two missing pieces will complete our reorganization of this department and will allow us the opportunity to measure its success in the next few months here.
Okay, so with my thanks to you and Mr. Albini, I'll move if you're ready.
Okay. Trustee Cooper, and then Trustee Nell? Okay.
Thank you for bringing
Trustee
these
Gasson.
forward
Sure, Trustee
and
Cooper.
getting to the end.
Almost.
And just to recap, I guess by eliminating those two positions, bringing these two on, we're saving on the tune of how much money?
I don't know.
Was it
the specific
$100,000?
number, but I believe it's around.
Just wanted to reiterate, we're doing everything we can to
Correct.
Yeah.
contribute to this district's financial well-being.
Mm-hmm.
I also was impressed with the breadth of this scope of their job description. Not only are they going to be working a bus foreman specifically, but they'll be taking care of our grounds equipment, and so nicely done. I like that.
This is not a typical job description. It is a little
didn't
bit
seem like
lengthier,
it. Yeah.
but we do feel that it addresses the unique needs that we have here in our district.
And CSEA, just to reiterate, I know the answer, but CSEA's bought in.
Correct, yes. They have reviewed these job descriptions. We have answered all their questions regarding
Thank you.
them.
Thank you. Trustee Nell? No? Trustee Gasson? Okay, great. Anybody else? Wonderful. So this is discussion action item. So,
I'll move adoption of the two job descriptions presented.
okay, perfect.
I'll second.
Okay, so Trustee Millerick and Trustee Nell. Okay, I'll ask the question. All in favor? All right, 6-0, 1 absent. Great, thank you. Good job. We'll go down to our next item. And now we're going to have Superintendent Chris Koska come speak to us regarding election of 2020 CSBA Delegate Assembly for the Subregion, 3rd District, Marin County. And this is with regarding Greg Nell, and I think
Is there any relation
some of us,
to one of our
yeah,
trustees?
some of us may know him. I don't know. Did anybody
Name
know him?
sounds familiar.
That's great.
I'm going to
That's
stay
great.
silent on all this. You notice that? It's not something I do very well, is stay silent on something.
Okay.
So this board is very active with CSBA, and currently CSBA has a vacancy for delegate assembly for subregion 3D, which it's nice that Marin County gets to be in 3 dimension. We get to be 3D. That's pretty cool. So you get to make a recommendation tonight, or you get to make a decision about who you are voting for the to fill this spot. And the candidate that's come forward is Greg Nell, who is a board of trustees with San Rafael City Schools. We've attached a bunch of his biographical information for those of you who are not aware of it. And as a board, you get to cast 1 vote for this vacancy. It's a 2-year term. It'll start April 1, 2020 and conclude on March 31, 2022. So with that, I will leave it up to you to take action.
Okay, and this was a vacancy since 2019, so it's been a while. Yes. So we got, all in favor? Oh, do you have?
So you're voting for for Greg Nell to be your delegate representative for CSBA Subregion 3D.
Okay, and Derek Nell has a question, and then Trustee Gasson.
Not so much a question as I just wanted to say that I think that Greg would be an excellent representative for us, CSBA in our region. If his resume doesn't state it enough, he's a very strong advocate and lots of experience in many different ways in support of students in our community, and I think you'll make a fine delegate.
And he was trustee of the year a couple years ago, so.
Yes, he was trustee of the year, and
Some of
has,
us.
17 years as a experience as a trustee, which is, I think, probably only second to Trustee Milrick.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Is that a motion?
So
After-
I would
after
like to
Trustee
move
Gasson talks.
that we
Yeah.
vote in
I
favor
got you.
of Greg to be our delegate.
I would second the motion.
Okay. Okay, and then there's discussion? Trustee Gasson?
A question, because it's new and maybe other people are actually out there watching instead of watching the election. But I'm curious to know, so we are casting a vote. Is there, are other district or other school boards doing the same? So is this like a cumulative thing? We all within Marin County vote?
It would be my understanding that all the school boards in Marin County would have the possibility to make this vote, to make their vote known.
Okay. Okay.
Great, thank you. Okay, so ask the question. All in favor? All right, 6-0, 1 absent. Thank you very much. So that takes care of our discussion action item, and we did consent. So our next meeting is going to be next Tuesday, I believe. When is it? It's the 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, okay. So this meeting is now adjourned.